I I reckon people complain probably more about this one than the other one because hello and welcome to this Tarkov chat. Now the update of 13.0.5 dropped, and it's an update you're going to be complaining about for a long time. I'll get to why later. But first things first, what was updated? Now, the update that's on the screen is either in the launcher or on the Twitter or on the website and pretty much anywhere BSG puts their stuff. Now, first was sound was a big part of this update and also the flashlight bug. But let's go. They fixed the lighthouse and interchange and parts of reserve and lab. So you might hear things differently, but the other changes, it might not actually have improved it overall, and I'll get to that. The phrases that the guys say should be loud when they're cranky, quiet when they're not. And once combat starts, they should talk less. And also, the phrases should be distance orientated. That seems to work fine. They seem to be quieter, further away, and louder, closer. The improved the headset system. Now, that, yes, they improved it. Each headset has a different thing. Generally, 60 meters plus, depending on your headset. Com4, the X, whatever, can't think of the name off the top of my head now. The better ones for distance, about 90, 85, 90 meters. That is also a negative. I'll get to that in a second as well. The pretty much stock standard 6 meters in a clear line of sight, you'll hear people walking, and the more they do, the louder it is. And it'll sound like it's a meter away at times, even if it's 60 meters. Now, the audio tracks of just weird sounds that you hear throughout the thing, they've apparently got rid of or changed it, because you used to hear like the odd voice or sound that wasn't actually part of the game. It was weird. What I did anyway, it might have been client to client, but concussion effects and all that, the ringing in the ear, they've changed that so it's not positioning based on turn of the head, and you still get the ringing in the ear, so that's sort of a negative. Anyway, use Golden Star, you'll get the ringing in the ear for, I think it's like 5 seconds. M1 grenade balance with other grenades, I'm not sure how big a deal that is to anyone, unless you use the M18 grenade. Now, they did fix some of the clipping that the audio did, which I believe there's nothing about it, but I believe that was probably them testing this update stuff because it was happening when things were getting wrong. And I'm pretty sure this update has actually come out earlier than they wanted because of all the bugs that came into it, because I'd say they were working behind the scenes adding some of this stuff. So yeah, the cutting off the line once they go in a building or behind a wall shouldn't happen anymore. And yeah, you can't hear anything behind a wall. Well, shouldn't be able to lean up against a wall and then hear what's happening in the room beside. But you can and can't, and isn't. If you leant up to a door, the first 3 meters odd seem to be a clipping area. So possibly that counts with outside wall as well. But inside walls that come and go depending on building. But you shouldn't be able to go up against a wall on the outside of a building and hear what's going on in the inside anymore, is how I get that. which is weird because that's what you do. You lean up against the building to see whether anyone's in there. So, and obviously flashlight bugs, but the flashlight bug got fixed more or less, pretty much fixed. But the laser then goes through flaws because of the audio system they changed. The audio system now sort of bugs out sometimes, and the beam of the laser goes through. So I'd say the light bug in the first place was an audio bug that they just waited until this update to fix. So whatever their audio bug is a light bug. It's tied together by the looks of it. Bots can no longer instantly rotate while prone. Now obviously that's snipers mainly, but obviously any scab that does it, but mainly sniper scabs, you won't have them looking at another player, get de-aggroed and switch to you instantly. They'll have to shuffle like any normal player. Disable some of the cheating of experience gain whilst killing the people in your group. The dog tags will be virtually worthless as well. And reduce the frequency of bot lines, like I said, during combat, which means you won't be able to position yourself based on their shouting. I'm not sure about the bosses. I ran into Killer today. He did not speak at all. The scabs around him barely spoke, but the problem with the headset got me in trouble. More than one time, but this particular time it got me in trouble with Killer. Obviously, if you don't know where Killer is, that's a big issue because him and other scavs, it's like running into Killer in factory while your back's turned. It's not good news. Now, with the headsets, the reason why you will complain pretty much until they change it or you get used to it, which you won't, because I don't think it's something you can get used to. So the headset, you can now hear things further away, close, louder. Based on your perception skill as well, it increases it, I believe. Now, the stock standard is about 60 meters. That 60 meters sounds like it's a meter away when they're walking. They sound like they're walking 60 meters away. They sound like they're talking. They sound like they're walking a couple of meters away. They sound like they're talking a couple of tens of meters to the distance of your headphones. So if you got the COM4s, possibly 90 meters away, you'll be able to hear them walking as if they're walking right next to you. That's fair enough if you control the situation. On Interchange, where I played today, because one, the system was meant to be updated and all that, and Interchange I had a couple of quests to do. So, worked together to do it. A scav, I was near Kiba, I believe. I thought a player was near me. A scav was aggroed on the player and everything on the first floor. It turned out the scav was the noise I was hearing, which sounded within 10 meters of me, and he was on the second floor above where the bit that you go down and up. I'm pretty sure that's near Kiba. But yeah, he was on the second floor balcony looking at me. The audio sounded distance. The footsteps sounded on me. And he was perched and peeking. When I was peeking, he was perched looking right at where I was about to peek. Now, if I had known that the scav and the audio was the same, I would have treated it different, because the audio sounded like a player was sneaking up on me, and it was a scav. It would have been easily 40, 50 meters away from me, scuffling into position and kneeling, and pretty much waiting for me to pop my head out. The audio aggroness possibly was at a different player, because that's a long distance to aggro on me when you can't see me. So maybe there was another player and I heard him aggro 50 meters away, but his sound getting into place was as if it was right there. So you will hate this update every time that happens to you. You'll be able to hear things better. You'll be able to hear people moving. You'll be able to hear people upstairs, downstairs, unless they're slow crouch walking, or prone, I believe. There's some issues with that. If you push, by default, I believe it's cap locks to make the slowest walking speed, but crouch, pretty much you won't be picked up by anyone's headphones. You'll hear, client side, you'll hear yourself, but they won't be able to pick up pretty much any noise. So that's a little sneaky trick that you can use. But yeah, it's a update that you're going to hate every time you hear something a meter away from you that is 60 to 90 meters away, and it's not directional. It's in a general direction. It's not vertical, it's horizontal direction, because it sounds like it's right on top of you, in your ears, around you, not as if you're listening to something in a distance happening, but clear. The only thing it does is cut out the ambient noise and the wind and all that. So you want to play with a clearer sound, but a sound you can't pick where the people are, it's a great update. But yeah, it's got some issues still. I reckon people complain probably more about this one than the other one, because you won't know where the sounds. You'll hear every sound, and if you have 5-6 people on a map moving around in a small area, you'll go mad. It's an update where you might even go crazy. But it's the first one on the road, which means maybe October for their birthday is where they're targeting the Streets update. Maybe they'll push it to Christmas to get that extra marketing. But either way, I don't think they can go that far. Unless they get new players and stuff, then marketing-wise, they'll be fine. But the player base will constantly be rotating through, and more than likely the old hands will be more negative towards October, December, not less negative. So they either need to tell them to be quiet, which a lot of them do need to be quiet. They just complain to get clickbaits and sympathy from their people because they get killed in a situation they shouldn't have, or blah, blah, blah. But yeah. In short, this update will make you go crazy. It will make you rage if you suddenly die from something that is at 90 meters away that you thought was right there. But it's progression. We can hope that that is a sign that we're moving forward, not backwards. But until next time, I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.